Okay, adventurers, the elevator has opened and we made it to the portrait gallery where we have a map and have basically been instructed to go in a big circle, or square rather. They are open until 7, so that gives you a little bit more time to explore this particular museum. At various stops, you'll see little QR codes, and you can actually scan those and hear a little bit about the motivation, what the particular thing you're looking at is, why it's symbolic, a lot of different things. So, kind of looking for those and checking them out as I go. Different mediums, so many interesting things. We are now entering an exhibit called 20th Century Americans, and in here they have a variety of different mediums, so let's look a little bit closer. There is a 4th floor exhibit that we have to take the stairs for, and these stairs are so old. They have the little intricate ironwork on them. So let's go and see what's upstairs. Have you ever heard "What's up, Doc"? Right here, this man, he has a bust. His name is Chuck Jones, and he is an award-winning animator and creator who created a lot of the Looney Tunes characters. Yeah, and this one has to be one of the more interesting ones that I've seen so far. It is Bob Hope carved out of wood. But look. If you've ever been to a circus or seen the movie The Greatest Showman or any of the above, check all boxes, then this man should look a little familiar. This is Mr. P.T. Barnum. Now we're going to go to the upper side of the other side. This is the Champions Gallery. Now I'm only assuming by the word champion, that means something to do with sports. I mean, it would make sense, right? One of my favorite Olympic stories, the story of Wilma Rudolph, who when she was born was partially paralyzed, yet went on to win 3 gold medals in the same Olympics. This is a pretty huge story on overcoming the odds and to not give up on yourself and to set your goals high and then to do anything that you want to do. I like her story. Downstairs so we can do more 20th Century Americans. Let's find out who is in this gallery. All my ladies out there will understand why this one's important. It is an Andy Warhol, Marilyn Monroe. Thanks, George Lucas. were Katharine Hepburn's, and not only did they have them, but they also have her portrait. Okay, this next gallery a lot of people have been asking about because it's one of the newest exhibits and it's also one of the first ladies. Now, whenever they have a president and a first lady, it is customary for each of them to have a portrait made, and then it is displayed here. Entering the next portion of the museum. It's a lot more wide open in here. The vibe is more contemporary. Goes to question, what if the only thing that was left behind from us was a photograph to tell the future about who we were, what we did, and how we did it? And they've assembled these photographs as a portion of telling our story. It has everything on here from a cloned longhorn to SeaWorld to fishermen, things like that. A little bit of everything, all the way from the good up to the bad, to kind of talk about humanity that we are currently. So my question to you is, if the world ended tomorrow, what would your story be, and how would one photograph tell it? This exhibit I'm about to show you will make you think, like, long and hard about using social media. Currently, Facebook has something to help with facial recognition. Simple to tag your friends, things like that. Your iPhone also does that. Well, the government does it as well. And it started out as a military experiment where they could actually give you a barcode based on certain features and give you a tag, so they can track you and find you through the cameras that are all over the place. Red light cameras, traffic cameras of all kinds, store cameras. All it takes is this little algorithm. I'm gonna zoom in on these so you can see them a little more closely. It's kind of disturbing. As you can see going this way, it's called Blackout, and it's all about silhouettes. Let's see if we can figure out who some of these people are without looking at the tags. This exhibit was just really interesting because there were some interactive things, but the ones that were the most surprising were how big they could make the silhouettes so it made sense and still were a complete and total story. That was really neat. Now we're moving into a different area about the American worker. Beyond that is the gallery called The Struggle for Justice, and there's a very large, very powerful image as soon as you walk in. to see this particular painting, you would think that it's actually a very large print photo, but it's actually an oil acrylic. It's painted about Eunice Kennedy, which actually was an advocate for special needs and special rights. She founded the Special Olympics, and as the namesake says, she was a Kennedy. So she did a lot for the community of those with special needs, and because of her work, she has made it into a very fine gallery of people. We next will go to one of the larger exhibits here. It's the Presidential Gallery. The presidents are kind of in order, so we can stick within this corridor right here and probably find all of the most recents, including Bush 2, Bush 1, and Clinton.
So do you have anything tomorrow or Friday?
And look who I found. It's Reagan. I know I have an unhealthy obsession with President Reagan. There's a long story behind it. When I was little, this was my president when I was born. And my granddad used to make sure that I had all of the cool presidential stuff from Reagan. So to this day, I still have a book of different presidential things from the Reagan administration. So it always makes me happy to find Reagan stuff. Different with Lincoln. They have numerous portraits and things which are significant to Lincoln. So they have his main portrait, which is in front of me and I'm about to show you. They have what looks like photograph. They have his casted hands and then also his casted face, not once, but twice. Perhaps the most recognized portrait, because it was the first portrait, George Washington. Now, like Lincoln, there isn't just one, there's a lot of them. So we're gonna have some work looking at all these. Into the last room on this hall, and there is a beautiful, magnificent, hand-painted piano that the detail itself is amazing, and then the painting is just phenomenal. Last floor, and we've got about 25 minutes before the museum closes. We're gonna have to make this a little fast. It may not be meant to be funny, but this is Andrew Johnson, and I laughed a little bit. He's having a stare down with a donkey. To another area called Unseen, and on this one it utilizes the creative form of different absentee and melting paper to create these really dramatic photos.